The message came at 2:14 a.m., just one line. No punctuation, no hesitation. We should talk. Her name lit up my phone screen, a lie in neon. I stared at it for a moment too long, my thumb hovering, my heart still. It was the kind of stillness that only comes before a storm or after a death. I didn't answer immediately. My silence was a weapon, and I knew people filled it with their own guilt. I lay back in the dark, the phone in my fist, and listened to the ceiling fan turn its endless circles. Her side of the bed was cold. She hadn't been home in hours. I already knew. Not everything, but enough. Enough to recognize her message for what it truly was, a rehearsed confession. Not for my sake, but for hers. The observation. The first signs were subtle. She started wearing perfume to the grocery store, lipstick to the gym, and her smiles never reached her eyes. She apologized for things I hadn't even noticed, and her touch on my shoulder felt rehearsed. It wasn't rage that gripped me then, just a vacuum of emotion that pulled every sound into it, every laugh, every kiss, every late return. I watched her not like a jealous husband, but like a scientist. She moved through the house like a stranger. Her phone was never out of her hand, and her eyes never met mine for more than a breath. She laughed too easily at nothing and flinched when I touched her wrist. I wanted to ask her to tear off the veil and watch her scramble for words, but I didn't. Emotion clouds judgment. I needed the truth, not apologies. I let her lie because people reveal themselves if you let them. She didn't realize I was listening or that I was already gone. The evidence. My investigation began with her phone, but I didn't touch it. That's for amateurs. I tracked her location through an app we'd long forgotten. I watched her routines, her detours, and her regular visits to the same building. Suite 804 law firm, her friend worked there. I found his name and his car. I watched him walk her to her own with a hand too familiar on her lower back. He didn't kiss her. Not there. Not yet. But his eyes lingered. I began to record everything, every call, every visit, every unexplained charge on our joint account, hotels, dinners for two at places we'd never been together. I didn't need to see them in bed. I just needed cold, irrefutable proof. I gathered receipts, timestamps, GPS logs, and even her voice, which she mistakenly left on a voicemail for him, calling him darling. She had never used that word with me. It didn't matter. Soon, I had everything I needed. The final act. At breakfast, I handed her the envelope. No words. I just slid it across the table between her coffee and her phone. She stared at it like it was a bomb. Inside was every detail, photos, blogs, voicemails. Her face lost all color. Her fingers trembled, and her mouth opened to speak. I shook my head once. No, I said quietly. She swallowed hard and tried again. No, I repeated. Silence stretched between us. When she reached for my hand, I stood and walked away. I didn't slam the door, and she didn't follow. That was 2 weeks ago. Now she was outside in his SUV, wearing his jacket. I recognized the watch on his wrist, a gift from me last Christmas. She didn't look at me. 2 men stepped in front of me, hired muscle. One cracked his knuckles. The other smiled as if I should be afraid. The lover got out of the car, too smooth, too sure of himself. Your wife's with me now, he said. We packed her things. We came to put you in the hospital. I smiled. Her betrayal was her choice, but bringing them was his mistake. I glanced at the camera, mounted above the garage, the one I had installed last week. It was streaming live to the police. Audio, too. Assault. Premeditated. Or recorded. Their mistake wasn't coming here. It was believing I hadn't already won. They're gone now. The police took them. She begged, pleaded, and cried not for me, but for her reputation. It was too late. I watched through the window as they cuffed him. She turned to me, and I shut the door. I sat down. Silence. Again. But this time, it was mine. The truth is, I stopped loving her the moment she chose him. I didn't need revenge. I needed clarity. And now, I have it. I'm free. She's not. She'll spend the rest of her life explaining herself. I won't say a word. She made the mess. She can live in it.